Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Friday. Friday. The number one rule on Friday: don't do anything stupid. Good morning, y'all. Who do we have in here? Corey, Chris, Greasy, Shadow, Ali, Will, Rich, David, John, Benton. Got a full crew this morning. How y'all doing? Yeah, that's Chris's rule. Rule number 2, don't follow Chris's rules. Good morning, Mary, Jeremy. All right. Oof, Chris, you almost YOLO'd. All right. We're looking good so far. The market is looking, well, we'll see. We've had some major sell-offs the last couple days. But let's hop right into the analysis here. Obviously, still bearish. Like I said, I was bearish, remaining bearish. We did pull up yesterday. I thought we may head up into that fair value gap. Obviously, after the first 30 minutes, I scratched that idea because we did not. And then it looked pretty bearish. And so overall, still bearish. We'll see today. So we have a daily fair value gap right here. If you look left, kind of scrunched up a little bit, we had a fair value gap and a volume imbalance right here. So you include both. Right here, price is going through it, but we also have some really nice looking sell side liquidity over here. On the left, I'm going to scrunch it up a little bit more. Some nice sell side liquidity here. And then we still have these fair value gaps even lower. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think 17,000 is crazy. Not now, obviously, but over the next few weeks, month, who knows? I don't think it's crazy. But we're coming right down through this old daily fair value gap. We may just make a run through this sell side here. I mean, these are some strong areas of liquidity here. All right. So, and then as we see here, we just keep gapping down on these sell-offs. So I do want to see if we're going to immediately rebalance. So I'm kind of keeping that in my head as we're watching in the morning session. Do we try to make an attempt to rebalance or not? So, of course, like I said, we have this daily fair value gap here. It's really old. This is back from November of 2024. So it may be ready just to trade all the way through it as we see it's doing. So now I have a 4-hour with that sell-off yesterday. Lots of volatility. That sell-off yesterday afternoon, 4-hour fair value gap there. So I marked it just to have it there. So we'll see what happens. 15-minute chart. All right, here's what we're looking at on the 15. Here's that 4-hour I marked in case we go up. I marked this fair value gap here. But then for the moment, we have this sell side liquidity, this sell side liquidity, and a little bit of sell side liquidity here. It's traded pretty nice, pretty clean through the downside. So I'm going to be curious if we want to rebalance this daily fair value gap and then come up here to this clean, very smooth buy side liquidity. Do we want to rebalance and make an attempt to come back up here? Or you see right here at 8:30, the news. Here, let me move that. We have this fair value gap on the 15-minute. Price came right up here. That's internal range liquidity. Came right up through it, and then it's dropping. It may not return. So today, got to be patient. Got to really get a feel to see what's going on, because there is some nice clean buy side liquidity up here as well. We could see it, like I said, rebalance this daily fair value gap and come back up into here, because yesterday, I mean, that was a nasty drop yesterday afternoon. I mean, look at that. Very nasty. Now, I heard it's some release of the Epstein files in the market. As soon as that release happened, the market just went whoop. But I haven't dug into that too much yet. But man, I mean, I don't, these sell-offs, and we have a strong reason. This right here, let me mark out the price label. There we go. 242.75. Very strong reason for price to come down there. However, very clean buy side liquidity as well. So we'll see. We'll see what it does there. The 5-minute, I mean, again, very clean buy side liquidity. We do have 9:45 news. 9:45 a.m. news. So I want to watch and see if we have a nice sweep down here and then a return back up to this area. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. So 931, our first presented fair value gap right here, returned right back to it. Let me check for an opening range gap. Very tiny, so probability is that we return to it. We have the close up here, then the open here. Opening range gap, we have about 596 to 620. So we could see it return back up to here, and then let's see. That's kind of what I prefer, is this rebalancing of the daily fair value gap, and then a run up through all this buy side up here. And remember what I said the other day? Well, the day I wasn't streaming, but I took the trade. The best longs come from around the midpoint, the first touch of the midpoint of the daily fair value gap. Here's the daily fair value gap. Look where the first presented fair value gap is overlapping. Right there. Nice. You took that price closing. Yeah, I'll check into that in a second. But yeah, that looks like, because like I said, we had a lot of clean buy side liquidity over here to the left. So when 830 came up, shot right up through that buy side and then trickled down. Now, however, keep in mind, I am I am bearish overall, right? So if I don't get anything on this move up to clean buy side liquidity, I can always wait for it to reach buy side liquidity and then the run down. But, you know, obviously just have to wait and read and see. We have this fair value gap here. Potentially, like, I'm not ready to go long right now because time, like I said, time is one of the most important things. And with my setup, I try not to go early. I try not to go early. It is pretty obvious for me right now, though. If we do return and we overlapped the first presented with a brand new 1 minute right here. So we may not even see a return down to this lower one. We might see it build up some support right here, sweeping London's low, rebalance this daily fair value gap. If it builds some support here, I mean, there's so much nice buy side liquidity up here. I don't see it not going through. We have the opening range gap. We have the new day opening gap. Lots of reasons for price to come up higher. But we also have news in 6.5 minutes. So what will probably happen, in my opinion, I believe right now, is we'll see price come back down here, or if it doesn't before news will shoot it down here and then rocket it back up. Or if it's already down here, I think news will just rocket it up. But I'm not quite, like, I don't like the setups to happen before my time, before 9:50. I've gotten burned like that before. That's why. That's why. So I really try to stick to my rules here. And if you look at the 15-minute, look at this wick. Look where the bodies are closing. Look at this wick. The wicks do the damage. Right? Everybody that's long, thinking, oh, we're going long. We're going to, fill all these gaps. We got to go long. Fill the opening range gap. Well, it just swept all those sell stops right there. That's why you always wait for the manipulation first. There's always going to be manipulation first. So let's see if we build some support right up in here. Like, this may be all it needs right here is this tap and go. Just wish it was 9:50 already. I got to stick to my rules, even though, like, I think right here in this area would be a great long. It may tap this one, but I think this would be a good long. I'm not, I can't take it. I got to wait. ICT would be proud. Eh. I swear, if one day we're here, yeah, exactly. That's another reason why I don't want to take this trade, because you would have a huge stop loss to properly trade this. Because if you get in this area, yeah, you could be under this first presented fair value gap, like maybe in this area, but there's a chance it could trade down here. And then remember, we have news, so news can throw some wicks out there and just really wipe out some stops, some stop orders. Top step, average, short. We're going long, yo. Fade top step. See this, and I'm okay with this running away, honestly. If it does, I just got to say it's Friday. I don't want any regrets on Friday. And by the way, I did not increase my contract sizing like I said yesterday. I looked at it and I said, you know what? There's 1 month left of February. I mean, 1 month left. 1 day left of February. Let me just close out the month. That way everything's, synchronized contract-wise, all that. Guarantee a green week, guarantee a nice green month. And then starting next week, I'll pop it back up. Took a little payout last night, so good to go. Yeah, I swear, if we're sitting here one day and ICT pops in the chat, I just hope I don't get nervous. I don't think I will, but who knows? You don't know until you're in the moment. TGIF, last day of the month, Trump speaks. Yeah, that's the thing. Trump, I might not notice. I don't know. Actually, I would notice because I know, Chris, you'd be sitting there going, ICT is here or something. Like I would see it. I mean, maybe. Yeah, Trump's speaking today too, and it's a tentative time, and I hate that. See, tapped into this lower one, we're gonna go up. Like this is, I'm pretty liking this area, but I just can't. I gotta hands off right now, because you could get crushed as well. Like it's not. There's too many factors. See, and this is why I don't take it. I could watch this and say, man, I really believe we're going to go up. We're going to run all the way up through here. And that could happen, right? But there's too many factors where if I did take it and I lose, where I could say, man, it was before my time. There was news in 2 minutes. There's these reasons that could make me really feel bad about the trade. And when I take losing trades, I don't want to feel bad about it. I want to be like, okay, it lost. I'll look later to see if I missed something. But I don't want to lose with some conditions that I know I shouldn't be trading in. Like that's my thinking on that. See, and this is, I mean, it's going, but it is what it is. I mean, that's 100 points already, but hey. Yeah, that's what I was saying on that 15-minute. Nice manipulation, cleaned out all a bunch of sell stops. And what could happen, it could be priming it to run through buy side and then just continue dropping. We touched that internal range liquidity right here. And it's not a guarantee it's going to run through this buy side, right? It could reach up for internal range liquidity and then just wham, drop, because it's pretty bearish, overall. Yeah, it was a good long. It is a good long, but hey, I got to stick to my rules. I got to. I was very confident this is going to go, but got to stick to it, because the time it does not, like I said, I will regret and say, dang, I shouldn't have taken that. And that's what causes the tilt and the spiraling and all that and regret. And then it's a Friday. Don't want to live with that over the weekend. Traded through the opening range gap. And, there's always another day. There's always another day. There's always another trade. Always, always, always. And if the market stopped tomorrow, we have bigger problems. That's grab your shotgun problems or something. We're in Texas. That's what we resort to. All right. I'm watching this inversion right here, potential inversion, because like I said, bearish overall, hit internal range liquidity. Now, potential inversion right here. That might be as high as it needs to go. Maybe. Just got to watch. Okay, we got the inversion. Now I want to see if we come down. At this point, I'm no longer looking for a long. Yeah, Shadow. 100% agree. At this point, I'm looking for a short. Doesn't mean it's going to go short now, but I'm no longer looking to take a long. I'll just let it draw to wherever it needs to draw. Okay, 9 a.m. news is over. Let it draw to wherever it needs to draw. And then, so here, clear the sell stops, draw to internal range liquidity. Now it's, the runway's clear. We can go, we can drop. If that's the only liquidity run that it's going to do. But like I said, it's very clean buy side liquidity up here. London high up here and that 4-hour fair value gap. So, however, we have a high, low, higher high. If we do take this low with displacement, we'd be looking at a breaker right in this area too. Pull back and drop. If we can clear this low here. And then, like I said, this right here, 242.75. If we don't hit that today, we're going to hit that soon. Like that, I will put money on. Like I will throw out some options or something. We are too close. And it's too bearish, in my opinion, to not get down there at some point. It is 2 minutes till 9:50. Retest. Let's stay in the lower half of this inversion, preferably, if it's the time to drop. If not, then we'll let it go to wherever draw it needs to go to. However, we have to watch and make sure we don't have low resistance. High resistance liquidity conditions like Wednesday. Really shouldn't. Looking back, I've looked at that trade a few times. I really shouldn't have taken that trade on Wednesday. My only trade this week should have been yesterday. But hey, we're human. It happens. That's why we have money management. But again, that key indicator of high resistance liquidity conditions is this: no fair value gaps. Wait for fair value gaps. This is the 15-minute. Let's go to the 5-minute. Ah, crap. That's what I love about TradingView. You just have a back button if you mess something up. Here, no fair value gaps. Like, look at this. Just wait. Let's just wait. Should have, could have, would have. Exactly. It is what it is. As long as that doesn't make you or break you. All right, you see how we came up into internal range liquidity, came down, inverted this here, came back up, failed to make equal highs, or a higher high, I should say. So if we close below this little swing, I would look at this up candle here as a potential bearish order block. And how I would do that is I'd take the whole body, this big body, and I'd measure out the midpoint of it, where you have the mid and then the opening here. This is only if we close below it, below here. Then I'd be looking for price to hold resistance at either the opening or right here, the midpoint, if we close below that. Yeah, it's not really tradable conditions right now, David. I agree. So it's just a constant reading of what's happening. Even in untradeable conditions, you can still get like a feel, an idea, and see what's happening, what's potentially happening. Like, continue to do that. That way, you're not caught off guard when it does move. Because we know the market eventually will do something. And if it doesn't, right, during the trading period that you allow yourself, then we do nothing. Now, also a wick like this, you need to act as if it's a fair value gap. Meaning, you have the entire wick. You want to look at the midpoint of it right here. So if price stays in the upper half, it continues to close up here and it cannot trade and close in the lower half, it may not, may not come down. So you got to watch that. And I have my financial juice running, of course, like always with these Trump tentative speeches, because you don't want to get caught in a, something. And look how price, like, if you're familiar, like, if you're in sync with how price typically moves, that's why I say a lot of times it's very good practice to just watch the charts run without trading, because you'll get a feel for how price moves. And like right now, you see how it's moving quite a bit. It's just not distributing. So it's volatile, but it's not distributing, right? Distributing right now, right? So when it does, it's going to go. You can see how it's doing this jerking. It's not doing like, this small. Let me get this one. It's not doing like this small, like little stuff like that. Like you can see right now, it's just doing this. Like it's jerky, if that makes sense. And when price is jerky, when it decides to go, like it's gonna go. Like you're gonna see it really distribute. And if you're off sides or the wrong way or using a mental stop or whatever, you will get crushed. You see how just this move right here was 100 points. Like from here, 521 up to here, 120 points. Like just like that. In 2 minutes, actually, 2 bars. So now I'd be looking at this as a minor sell side liquidity or sell side liquidity, actually. And let me remove this one. Boom. So now we have buy side, sell side down here. Man, look at that. Reaching right back down. Definitely waiting because it could, again, have some support here and make its way up through that buy side. Like, I need it to be very crystal clear that we're going to displace and run short. This inversion didn't really do much. Like, came down now, kind of tapped right back in the lower half again, but waiting to see how it price reacts inside these areas again here. Yeah, maybe that may be maybe. I do like that may be an order block. I'd watch right here the open of that candle with this fair value gap right there. Now we haven't inverted, like re-inverted or inverted this or gone lower, but I want to see if we are going to go lower. I would like to see this hold as resistance right here. I don't think I'm not quite ready to short this yet. It is just above equilibrium. I would prefer this to trade and close down here first and then return. Because I don't want, what I don't want is it to hold support here and then it invert this one and head up to that buy side liquidity. That's what I don't want to happen. Because you still have that. Actually, wait. No, it did hit the new day opening gap, so that's good. And it hit internal range liquidity. So, and we're bearish. I'm bearish. So it may not return up there. We'll see. I just don't like when I have these two tight areas like this where, yeah, it could go short from here, but look how it could be holding support here. I got to sit on the sidelines. I just have to. I'd rather let it hit here and then wait for another form of displacement and fair value gap here lower, because I have, like I said, I have reasons not for price just to stop right here, but for it to go all the way down here. Like, I got room for it to keep going. So if it hits here and holds, I mean, I like what it's doing right now, but I can't go yet. I just can't. I can't. Especially with how price reacted right here in this first presented fair value gap. I just can't do that. See? And that's exactly why I just could not short it yet. Might be getting another fair value gap right here. So we have now this inversion. I'm going to get rid of this one. This inversion might get an overlapping fair value gap here. And now we may go through. Now we're probably going to go run up through buy side. I don't see it just stopping. But I can't just take a trade in the middle like that. Very still showing high resistance conditions at the moment. Doesn't mean it's going to be a high resistance day. Just at the moment. Lots of 15-minute, lots of accumulation on the 15-minute chart here. Like, look at that. Come on. I can't. Nope. No, thank you. Yep. David, that's exactly what I think too. When I'm watching this, I'm like, just like the other day, like, yeah, I guarantee you people are getting chopped up right now. Chop suey. There we go. Now I'd like to see it clear that buy side liquidity, London high, hit that 4-hour fair value gap. Then I'll be looking for my short. It pretty much rebalanced that 15-minute fair value gap now, right here. But it's just too close to this buy side liquidity, this area right here, 680-ish. Like, I think we see it pop up through. But watch this fair value gap. See what we do here. If we invert it. And just like that other day, like when you see it keep creating fair value gaps, inverting, reclaiming, creating fair value gaps, inverting over and over, another sign of high resistance. Like this could be one last sweep up here into rebalance that completely. And look how it's running, coming right back down. Everybody that's trying to long up through buy side is in some major heat, depending on where they got in. If they longed anywhere in any of these. That's why I'm waiting, sitting on the sidelines right now. Inversion. Like so many inversions. Reclaiming. Brand new fair value gaps. Top step, 73% long. Goodness. They're offside every time. Tapping this one again. See, look at that. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one too. All I want to see is this first presented. Now let's see if this one holds as an inversion. All right. These have been traded through quite a few times. I'm not too concerned with them. I want to see if this holds as an inversion now. If not, it could keep going up. Like, I don't want any part of this. I don't want any part of this right now, just to be honest. I want to let it go. Let price go. Get out of here. Like, it's pretty volatile. It's whippy, zippy, whatever you want to call it. And another indication of high resistance liquidity conditions is when it's continuously taking out highs and lows over and over and over. Like it's clearing out everybody. Nice, David. Our insider for Top Step. We have a little bitty fair value gap right here. There's nothing I'm interested in, but just pointing it out, little one there. And that's why I don't like to mark like every single fair value gap. Like I just wait and watch and see which ones potentially could be important. At this point, I need price to really just displace through these lows here, through this low, and like displace down for me to be interested in anything. Or let it run up and sweep here and then displace down. That's what I'm looking for. And if I don't get it, I don't get it. And that P&L right there at the top will stay blank. Let's look at, look, go to the 5 minute. Look at this. Remember, the bodies tell the story. The wicks do the damage. Look where the bodies are. Like right in this area. Well, that's even more so like this area. And look at the wicks. Just whipping everybody. Whipping them. Go to the 15 minute. I mean, look at this. Bodies. Wicks. We have this little 1 minute volume bounce right here that I didn't see until now. Right there. I love volume imbalances because price tends to always return to them sooner than later before it runs away. So like I didn't even notice this one, and when price ran up here, had I noticed this one, as soon as it's pulling down, that's where I would be like, okay, it's coming to, trade right through this volume balance before it can run up to buy side. That's what volume imbalances are really, really good indicator for. They're one of the weakest PD rays, but in terms of like being a magnet, they're pretty strong. Price typically returns to them. It doesn't mean it'll hold like this. It just means it'll typically return to them, and it'll just like keep trading, or it will hold and go up. But you can't really, like me, I wouldn't really trade it unless there's something there overlapping it, which we did have this fair value gap, but which means you got to include the fair value gap with the volume bounce. And if you look there, you can see the body stayed on the upper portion of the fair value gap if you included the volume bounce. So small detail, but you can see it's pretty impactful. Still not interested. Like this is. Oh, wow. So Trump administration and Musk's Doge plan to fire nearly all CFPB staff in agency wind down. If you're unfamiliar, the CFPB is where they help the credit bureaus. And, they shut them down. So like if the credit bureaus or anybody has issues with their credit reports, they typically send a complaint to the CFPB to like crack down on what's going on. And they shut that down. And so now they just said a little bit ago that they plan to fire almost everybody in that department or in that division. Pretty interesting. I mean, they just need to do away with credit reports. The credit score. Have a credit report, but just because your number is one number and yeah, there you go. Just forget it. Forget credit cards. If you don't pay it. As you read on the top of my image here, it says, not financial advice for everybody listening to me. Yeah, they need to fire all IRS staff as well and stop income tax. No more income tax. I like that. We pay enough taxes, sales tax, property tax, whatever. We pay a lot of taxes as it is. Let us keep our income. Right? Yeah. Yeah, I feel like if income tax is gone, we'd see it definitely a lot more people coming to the U.S. Poor California. Hey, yeah, Californians. Holy jeez. You know, a lot of people pay over 50% in taxes in California. I mean, wait, Shadow's still in California? You're in California, Shadow? I know, Chris, you came from California. I mean, you're a Texan now, but if you came pre-COVID, if you were here before COVID, you are a Texan. If you came after COVID, you are not a Texan. Yeah, that's my biggest hate for Texas, Houston. Uh, I hate our weather. Two things. If two things changed about where I live in the Houston area, I live south of Houston. If two things changed, I would never want to leave ever in my life. If it was up to me, I'd move away. But it's not up to me because I have a wife and kids, and she has family, and I have family, so it's not up to me. But if it was up to me, I'd be somewhere else. But I would not want to go anywhere else if two things happened. If we had 4 seasons, like an actual winter, summer that it wasn't 110 and crazy humidity. But if we actually just had 4 seasons, I'd be okay with summer. The other thing is, if Galveston had beautiful blue water, man, I would never leave. I'd live on the island. But we have dirty, poopy water, so. I don't know, honestly. I love the beach. I love the beach weather, but I'd be okay not living around a beach and just taking vacations to beaches. I don't know. Maybe Connecticut? I don't know. I don't know. Just somewhere with like 4 seasons, doesn't get too hot. I don't know. Yeah, I love being around the water though, so that's what I'm saying. If Galveston had like you said, Cozumel waters, even if it had Florida waters, I mean, like, come on. There we go. Now we're up through buy side liquidity. And see, even if I was really under the impression that, hey, we're gonna go up through buy side, like that's where we're gonna go next, it was just it'd be very hard to take a trade in this. Like, even if I was really like, even right here when we had this inversion and this newly formed fair value gap right here with this volume bounce, like that was probably the best entry. But the only way you're going to see that with the way the market conditions were this morning is in hindsight. Obviously, when we were watching, it's like at the moment, we're just seeing how many times fair value gaps are getting inverted, reclaimed, inverted, and created new ones. Where how do you know in live time that's the time? Like, I don't know that yet. So I just sit on the sideline. I wait. What, Chris? You're going to the wrong places in Florida. If every water you've been to in Florida has been crap, I don't know what part of Florida you're going to. I love Florida. Go to Destin, beautiful. Pensacola, beautiful. Uh Man, if you go on the other side, it's just obviously the Keys. There's a beach called Siesta Keys. It's like typically number one in the United States in Florida. Oh man, I don't know where you're going, Chris. You must be going to the swamp waters. Hey, you got to go to the beach, not the swamp. Yeah, you got to be on the Gulf side for the nice beaches, or if you're gonna go on the east side, you got to be. Yeah, Siesta's by Tampa. You got to be like further south, like I mean Miami, obviously, but then you got to be like in the lower Keys, where it's like getting closer to Caribbean waters. But otherwise, if you're in the Gulf, like Destin, Pensacola, man, it's just nice. San Juan. Yeah, a lot of people move to Puerto Rico because their taxes. If you live there at least 6 months of the year, well, crypto taxes, you don't pay any taxes. I knew a guy that lived in Las Palmas. He made a crap ton of like millions and moved to Las Palmas. And he said basically Las Palmas in Puerto Rico is like crypto, like the centralized world of crypto. Like everybody's Bitcoin, crypto millionaires and billionaires there. Yeah, there you go. That's capital gains in Puerto Rico. That's what it is. Yeah, South Beach. Whew. We're gonna have to take. We're all gonna have to go and like take some crazy awesome payouts from trading, and have like a meetup in the beautiful areas and show Chris where to go. All right, so we swept. We're here. Buy side liquidity. Now I'm definitely looking for a short if it presents itself. We did, however, invert this 15-minute fair value gap, and we're reaching back in. So I want to see if it's supportive there or not. But you see how there was a potential fair value gap here to go up, a bullish fair value gap, and it immediately rebalanced it. And it's a little bit open, but basically immediately rebalanced it. So I'm curious to see if we do make our way down. And then this would be a bearish order block on the 15-minute chart here. We'll see. We'll see. Price is just kind of like, I'm not loving it. So I really need something obvious. We have this. I'm watching this fair value gap here. I'm going to erase this 15-minute one, get it out of here. But we have this one. I want to see if we invert this. I really prefer it to get inverted. Like, that'd be beautiful, actually. If this becomes an inversion. I'm going to get rid of my opening range gap, too. It's kind of in the way. Already traded through it pretty well. Deal. Nice, yeah. So we'll see. I really want it to just go ahead and displace down now. Look at all this little bit of like, this is what you call like trend line liquidity right here, where we could see it just displace through all that. I would love to see that. It technically has not inverted this gap. Yes, you see this little bit portion here remaining. But with this little pullback, I mean, there's no fair value gap. I would just love to see just drop. Just give me that displacement here. And like I've been saying these other days, if it just continues trickling up, it probably won't give me what I'm looking for before 10:30-ish, and I probably won't take anything. But I would love to see that displacement. I like right in this area, if we got a fair value gap right here, that'd be really nice. See, coming straight through this trend line liquidity, but I want to see it actually displace, and it did rebalance that 15-minute completely that I was just showing. I don't want to flip to it just yet or right now because need to watch here. There's still no fair value gap on the 5-minute. Wild. However, right here, this could be a bearish order block, maybe. So I'm going to mark it. It's the 5-minute chart. Right here. I want to watch the body, the opening, and the midpoint right at the high of this inversion on the 1-minute. I want to monitor that and see if we could build resistance between here, 640.75 and 666.75. Right here. If we can hold resistance here and then displace down. Come on, market. That's what I'm looking for at this moment. If we don't get it, then probably nothing for me. Right here. Go ahead and hold. And with this inversion, I'd like to see the lower half hold as well. That'd be even more confirmation. Okay. Push up into here. This could be a short right there if I traded inversions because we took that buy side liquidity, but I don't trade inversions. I like more confirmation. All right, Shadow. Thanks for being here. See you later. Yep, I got me about 10 minutes, and if we fail to displace, then I'm not gonna be interested. Especially if we take these highs, this high. If we take this high and don't immediately, because what could happen is we could trade all the way up here. And if we do trade all the way up here, then there's not going to be an entry for me during my time. It may, if there is a drop, it might be another afternoon drop, like a 130 drop or something. So we'll see. Hitting the midpoint, see it's trading up through. Yeah, I really don't like it right now. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. It's failing to displace, but I need that displacement. I mean, right back here in hindsight, like I said, the midpoint of the daily fair value gap, all this area, this was good areas to go long from. I couldn't. The way price was and everything, this was probably the best entry in hindsight. There's no way I was taking that, though. All right, Shadow, have a great weekend. And all I'm going to do now is just wait for, if we take this high, I want to wait to see if we immediately come back down right here. Like now, I want to see it immediately come back down. If it does not, I'm not going to take a trade. Yeah. See, it's likely to keep going all the way up there. So this was, in fact, the manipulation down right here. And then it looks like it will distribute up here. And then maybe in the afternoon, come back down. Maybe. If it does, if it does. We have those fair value gaps up there on the daily chart that we could trade back up to. We could want to rebalance this. So Yeah. Here we go. All right. Yep. That's it. I'm calling it. Yeah. It swept yesterday's low. I mean, it looks for the moment like, yeah, it definitely shaped out. And this is one of those days. In hindsight, it's very clear, right? It's very clear. Manipulated down, came up, stayed above the first presented fair value gap, sweeping yesterday's low, rebalanced that daily fair value gap completely, taken buy side liquidity. Like, I mean, it's very clear now. But in the moment, as it's doing all this high resistance stuff, like, why? Why risk it? You could go long, but not for me. Not for me. So, all right, y'all, I'm going to call it a day. Profitable week. Only took 2 trades. That one little loss and that nice win yesterday. And that's the way it goes sometimes. But guess what? I had a great green month. Took a little payout last night. Then come Monday, go back to my normal sizing and see what we do for March. So there, and then there we have it. That's how it goes. So, all right, y'all. I am gonna hop off here. Thanks for joining. As always, hit that like button, please, and make sure you're subscribed. I'm seeing my subscriber count climb a little bit, so I don't know if there's some new people here on stream that jump on, but if you do, make sure you are subscribed. But if you're gonna keep trading, my number one rule for Friday, I can't say it enough, is don't do anything stupid. You gotta live with it all weekend. So, all right, I hope y'all have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. Do some chart review, whatever you need to do, get some rest, and I'll see y'all back here on Monday. And as always, trade well, everybody. See y'all later. Sorry.